Yes, we can.
All right, great. So this will then be your space. This will be where we engage, we interact. So when you land on the SharePoint, this is what you will find. So everything that you're gonna need is here at the click of the button. So where we are now, we are in this phase, the transition to CA phase. So that's where you're gonna find all the material, all the recordings that are going to be provided or going to be undertaken and then supplied later. You will find them here. So the first thing that you will then find is the material that I've just loaded. So you will see it's quite a short set of material that is sitting here. It's this short of material that is sitting here. If you can just, no, wait, where does it say Jen? Is this the right one? Yes. Okay, I'm not sure. I didn't update. But yeah, this is the one that you can download, and then we're gonna be discussing it today. Then additionally, I just want to point out on the announcement. So there is an announcement that I posted through here. So I'm going to talk about it, but you will see that just the navigation of the course where we are and where we're going to end up, it's driven at each level by these face notes. So I'm going to talk about how they're structured, how you need to use them, and once you are there, you'll then be able to get the best of it. So this will always be the high level. I'll post each and every face note before we kick off, so you can expect the face note for the accounting phase to come out on Monday or Tuesday, just ahead, and allow you to plan for those classes. But when it comes out, there is the document that you can download, and there is an audio note that just does an overview. So we prepare it using our AI tool just to say that, oh, if you just want to get a sense of what and how you should be thinking about this particular phase, what to expect, these two things will then help you to get there. But also the cover page will then tell you what this is all about. But all right, let's then jump into where's my slides now? Yeah. Okay. All right. So as you will see from the face note, this course has got two phases, which are the transition to CA phase, as well as the what do you call this? The technical phase. The technical phase, this is now where we go into the technical aspects of everything. And I'm just going to explain that a little bit more in the next couple of minutes. But the idea is for you to say that after completing this particular course, you will then get a better, you'll be better equipped to tackle the APC. Because one of the things about the APC that you need to be mindful of is just considerations around the time you have before the actual exam, after you've got your pre-release material, and also the structure of the exam. Because once you have those, and therefore you have a good understanding of what is required there, then you then get a better view of the objective of this course and what is it really trying to do. So we have just three agenda items. And the last one, I'll do a recording for it just so that you can always refer back to it as and when required. So starting off with just the welcome. So the welcome, as I was saying, that there is a support team that will always be with you throughout the course. And the support team, we use Microsoft in terms of just engaging with you. There is an email box that will have already been set up for you. So this email box, it will just be your first name dot your last name at endunamu.africa. And this is then the primary email address that we'll be using in order to communicate with you. And alongside it, it's a OneDrive, which you can then access to save anything that is personally related to you. And there is also a video that will then show you how to just link it to your learning workspaces so that you can access the material from there. But essentially, what I want to highlight, it's the lecturer engagements, as I was saying about the lecturers, that they are available and they are really here to support you throughout this journey. The classes are really meant to be interactive. They will have some examples that they might give you to work through. There might be some examples that I'll also give you to work through, and they might use that feedback in order to just help you to prepare, to help you to just see the application of these things. And even more so, they'll also help you and guide you through the technical question banks that you've got. Because yes, this, as much as it does not lead to any particular qualification, we believe that the assessment are necessary just to keep you in check, just to also help you with reflection, to know that, oh, I'm getting this. No, I still have a little bit of work here. So that is the point of those assessment. So there's going to be a couple of those in the program, and some of them you'll see that you will be expected to do during the course, and the others will be expected to do after the course is ended, especially around December when things are mostly quiet down and you're catching up ahead of 2026 academic year. Then when it comes to the guideline to say that, okay, I'm here, what should I be thinking about for the next week, or the next 3 weeks, for the next month? How do I need to plan my time? We've got what we call the face notes. And I'm going to show you how they are structured. But if you've already downloaded the one that we shared this morning, you'll start having a good sense of how it's structured as well. Then in terms of some of the candidates that have been through the program, whether it's the APC or this APC bridging course, we've got a wellness hub where we've got guests, where we've got previous candidates, and also mentors that are there to just say, apart from the academic support, if you just want to have someone that you can connect with, talk to, then this is then the person that you can look up to in terms of the recordings are there. If it's mentorship, then the team can help you to connect you with someone that can help you just to walk through the journey, whether it's on an informal basis or a formal basis. Those are some of the things that you can just look into. Then, in terms of the getting through to the lecturers, so as I was saying, there are consultations that you can book, and you can do it. You can book and you can then have a one-on-one and just work through any issues that you might have. Then those notes that I was talking about. So 2 notes are going to be important in your journey. The first one is the welcome note. So the welcome note will then just clarify the structure of the program to say that, yeah, this is the accelerated half year, this is the expectation, this is the resources that you have, and so on and so on. It will also clarify the communication channels in terms of the announcement, the news, the Viva Engage, and all the things that we have on the ABC homepage. It'll also talk about what we call the My Personal Folder experience, which I'll just quickly just talk to as well. Then it'll also just give you some general guidance around that being some of the things that I was sharing earlier. The face notes are the ones that are technical. So if there's anything that you want to clarify around the welcome notes, the community experts will then be the best people to do that. But if there's anything to clarify on the face notes, then your lecturers and myself are the best people to connect with, because you might want to understand the learning objectives. You might want to understand the purpose of the phase that we are in. You might want to understand which CTA videos you need to look at, which questions to look at, when do you need to look at, what are we covering, what is this going to be the focus for that class. That's all in the face note. So the face notes are very important. And that's why I'm saying that come this week, you're going to get the first one, Monday, Tuesday. You will get it about a week or two in advance of the commencement of the technical phase that you'll be dealing with. The idea is so that you can start getting yourself into that mindset to say that, oh, I see that we're going to what? We're going to cover these particular standards. Okay, I need to make sure I already have my handbooks at the time. I need to make sure that I go through this recommended reading that they're talking about. I need to make sure I've gone through the videos and so on and so on. So that's what they do. And for me, when it comes to the technical phase, it'll be so important for you to prepare in advance. It will be so important for you to prepare in advance and to just as far as possible after a class, then putting a little bit more effort and a little bit more time into just catching up. Okay. Then the personal folder, it's really all about saving some of the things that concerns you. So all your submissions are going to be there, and the marked submissions are going to be there so that you can access your feedback. And this is the same folder that when you get to the APC, there will just be a new APC folder. So the folders really exist in order to do what? They exist to just smooth out your process and just making sure that everything that relates to you, you find it with ease. So for me, these are the key documents and key platforms that you just need to be familiar with. Then when it comes to the program, so that you then have that big picture behind it, it is really that there are two phases, but the second phase is broken down into 3 more or 4 more. So for the next 2 weeks, we just want to introduce you to the journey, understand the handbooks and the resources. So generally you find that most are Become Finance, accounting, and in there some will have gone through advanced accounting, which will have required the use of handbooks. But we generally find that unless you've done a pure accounting degree, you will not have needed to use the tax legislation or the international auditing standards. So we take that as a general view, whether maybe for your specific circumstances it might be different or not. The reason why we make it a general view is to ensure that we pitch it from the most foundational level possible, so that we assume that you don't know how these books work. You don't know how to navigate them. So there will be a lot of guidance around just navigation. And that's what we want to get right, to say that if I say to you, we are selling a machine, which standard am I in? You might say, oh, maybe there's a revenue. Then I might say that, oh, but it's on a hire purchase agreement, which simply means that you get access to the machine, you pay installments, and you only get ownership later on. Is that still a revenue transaction, or is it now a leasing transaction? So then the navigation will then help you to know, what do I need to check so that I know I'm in this revenue standard, or I know I'm in this leasing standard. So you're going to learn about the scope, you're going to learn about the recognition criteria, you're going to learn about a lot of things that will then be useful even in practice. like if you was talking about dealing with the auditors, because the auditors sometimes they're technical. They'll come and say that we don't agree with your accounting policy because you are saying the useful life is assessed every 2 years, but you have to assess it every 1 year, every year. Then you might say that if I'm to argue with them, where do I even begin? What references are they using? And therefore, if I have a counter argument, it might start from a business perspective, but the auditors will want it to be driven by the accounting prescripts that, but if it says X, are you doing what if it says? So we're gonna then get there to say that how do you then use these standards to build an argument? So one of the things that you're gonna find, it's a lot of discussion questions, because through the discussion questions, you are then able to do it. You are then able to build an argument to say, let me start here. The issue that you have with this matter, it's X. And for X to be true, B and Y have to be true, and so on and so on. So that is really the idea behind the transition phase, to lay the foundations, to get you to a point where you are comfortable to use the standard, you are comfortable to build an argument around the standards. Then we've got phase two. So with phase two is the technical work now that we go into. Firstly, we go into accounting, then audit, and lastly, tax. And to understand the logic of this is because accounting will then lay the foundation of how transactions actually get into the books. Because if you are to talk to SARS, SARS will say, send me your management accounts, send me your financial statements so that they can see what is your revenue. How they then treat it will be according to the tax legislation. But the auditors, when they come, they will say, oh, give us the trial balances, give us the financial statements, and that's what they will audit. So it becomes natural or logical for us to kick off from the accounting phase. And with the accounting phase, we will then be saying that how do you record the different transaction? If now there is a share scheme that is introduced, how do you then account for that scheme? And how will then the auditors look at it? And what will be the tax implication for it? So that's the logic of this. Then with accounting, there will be therefore key standards that we'll focus on. There are a couple of standards that are there, but there will be ones that we focus on to just say, this is important, this is not so important, and this we'll want you to do on your own later on. So there are different approaches that we have for all these things that are here. Then the next one, the audit, what the focus will be there. The focus will then be external audit, because I think some of you might have done internal audit, or you might work closely with internal audit, but when it comes to the audit we're going to cover here, internal controls and therefore internal auditing is a part of it, it's a subset, but the focus here will be how an external audit is executed. And most of the time, it's like we are looking at things from the perspective of the external audit firm. However, notwithstanding this, the APC itself will then be now you taking the role of a finance clerk, taking a role to work alongside the internal audit, when now you are looking externally and say the auditors are coming and they might want to do these processes and we will need to respond to this audit. So this is what we will need to do. So it's an interesting dynamic, because you're going to be focusing on As an auditor, before I accept an audit, what do I need to do? I check whether I've got sufficient skills. I check whether I'm independent or not. All right. I check whether there are any ethical red flags I need to worry about. Okay, I've taken the audit. How do I execute it? I need to execute it from the planning phase, understanding the environment, and executing the audits and then reporting. That is what we're going to focus on. And therefore, understanding the environment will just then talk to the structure in an organization, the internal controls, and that's where internal audit comes in. So the team will unpack that even more for you. Then tax. Tax has really 3 or 4 key subsets. One will be the corporate income tax. 2 will be the personal income tax. And 3 will be the other taxes, like your dividends tax, like your donations tax. That's where they will fall under them, and also value added tax will fall under there. I know that the likes of Zim, I believe that there's no dividends tax, which therefore makes things quite interesting there. But our focus in this program, despite those many taxes, will be 1, corporate income tax, and 2, value added tax from a corporate perspective, and number 3, the other taxes. We'll discuss them on a high level. And that's just using the past 10 years or so of the APC. That if you had to go back in the past 10 years, you'll then find that the tax considerations are mostly what? Are mostly from a corporate perspective rather than from an individual's or other taxes that are levied by the revenue authorities. So that is why then the focus is like that. Then management accounting and finance is important, but what we then do is we designate it as a self-study topic for our purposes. You'll then get a face note for it, but you'll then be given access to go through the CTA videos, because we generally found that most people are comfortable in this particular course, are comfortable with management accounting and finance, but you will still have access to the consultations, and therefore if anything is unclear and you will want to work through, that is what you'll then need to just do to make sure you meet your objectives. But in finance, there's nothing that you'll have done from an ACCA or CIMA perspective that we will teach you. We focus on NPV, we focus on valuation. So the approach, it's the one that might be a little bit different, the style of questionings that we have seen, and the ones that will therefore want you to master. So that is on a high level, the what? The structure of the course. Maybe let me pause here and see if there are any questions. Are there any questions? Is it clear or something to clarify? Hey, as a reviewer, I'm seeing a message. So, are you asking about this? Where I was? Yeah, here. Did you come right? So the moment you land, you then find this. So the folders here, transition to CFAs.
Yes, Renani. No, that's fine.
All right, cool. All right. Any questions or aligned? Are we clear in terms of the expectation in this course? Okay.
Rendani, sorry.
Hi. Sure.
Are we
Mhm.
expected to submit weekly assignments or anything like that?
Yeah, so not so. So one of the things that we do want you to do, and you'll see when the accounting face note comes out. So you will get a question bank, right? So the question banks will be, I think, about 10 or 12 questions for accounting. So you'll then find that on the timetable, we're going to discuss, say, IFRS 16, which is the leasing standard. So there will be a recommendation for you to work through the leasing content in the CTA videos. And then there will be a question that will be marked for discussion in class, just to start seeing the application of this. So that question, you can attempt it, but you are not necessarily required to submit it. The idea of having that question in advance is so that you might say, I'm studying for this weekend, but am I there or not there? So let me prepare. And therefore, when a Kanye comes in class, you are able to easily follow. You're able to easily follow, ask more questions about maybe something that you did wrong or something that you are not sure about. So that's the expectation on a weekly basis. But then at the end of each of the technical phases, then there is a tutorial that now brings together maybe having covered revenue, having covered leasing, having covered financial instrument. That tutorial will then have everything, or not everything, but most of the things in there now, so that you are able to just apply the learning and see the interaction between the different aspects. And that one we ask that you submit so that we can mark and give you formal feedback so that you know where you are. And come that December holiday, you use that feedback in order to start doing what? You start revising and preparing accordingly. So that is the assessment structure.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Sure. All right. Then, yeah. So that is on a high level the structure. Then the face notes that you're gonna get. So this is how they are structured. So they will have a contact session and clarify when that session will be happening, or a set of sessions will be happening. Then they will have the objective for the sessions. And it will say that, yeah, here we're going to cover 1, 2, 3. Then it will tell you that please work through these particular sessions. Please work through these particular sessions before what? Work through these particular sessions before we kick off. Then during the class, it will clarify this is then the question we're going to be discussing, this is what we're going to focus on, and so on and so on. Then after the session, there's another question from your question bank that we want you to do so that you cement whatever we've discussed. And if you're unclear, you then get an opportunity to what? To consult. So that is how then a face note will be structured. So please always refer to it before and after class so that you just work through the specific guidance and get the support that you need. Clear? Okay. So in the last few minutes, as I was saying, this is just clarifying just how to think about the different qualifications and the different focus, because that's what makes them different. What makes them different is just their focus. That is not that every qualification will deal with everything. CIMA is quite strong in strategy, whereas SAICA can be quite strong in technically and from an external audit perspective and so on. Sorry, can you say yes?
Okay, I was gonna ask at the end before you go, but
Oh,
since you gave me a chance, this is about the books. If I
oh yeah.
need the books, do I contact the support team so they can assist me with ordering from the bookshop you spoke about in the open day, or who do I contact?
Yes, you can do that. So there will be someone that then will call you and then just confirm what you need and then discuss the timeline with you and so on. Yeah. So let me check. Is there's instructions here? But yeah, support will be them. But I can just ask them to put a note just in case. Yes. Yeah. So you can do it, I think, also on the query tool, finance query, and then order books.
Okay.
But otherwise, if you don't come right, the support team will be able to assist.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe while we are here, because I think it's a very important point. So if for any reason you're saying that I'm good to commit some of the amount now and I'll think about the ones later on, I'm still not sure whether I'll need all these books. If you are a little bit pressed or you are undecided about whether you need these books, what I can confirm now is you need to acquire all of the ones that are under the section handbooks. This will be imperative. So this is the Psycha handbook, volume 1 through to volume 2. Then, so it's called, are they called volumes? So on the side, they've got 1A, 1B. Yeah, they call parts. So it's volume 1, but it's got part A, 1A, 1B, it's got 1A, B1, and 2. So that is how it is. So, but on the cover, it's written IFRS. Then volume 2, it is the auditing one. And then volume 3, it is the tax legislation. So if you are in Zim, as Darlington and Jacob were talking about, you don't need to buy the Psycha one for volume 3. You need to buy the one, it's called the ICAS handbook. So the ICAS handbook, it has the legislation for Zim in terms of the tax legislation as well as the governance legislation, like your Zim code. But other than that, these are the critical and the ones that the team, when they come and lecture, they will be focusing on. These other ones for me are optional. They're optional because the course is quite short, and sometimes the notes with what we want you to cover will be comprehensive enough. But I know sometimes some just prefer textbooks. So if you are one of those, these are the textbooks that we do recommend. But for me, it's not necessary to acquire them. So that is then the idea with this. But the 3, they're going to be important, and you're going to even use them through to your AP in your APC journey. So that is why they're important. And the assessments are open book, so you can bring this into your assessments. Even in the APC, you can bring them as well. So you are allowed to bring them. It's an open book assessment. Okay. Then, yeah, so as I was...
Thank you.
Sure. Then, yeah, this, you're going to see quite a lot of this, and these slides, I'll then explain a little bit more in the pre-recording so that you at least have this as a reference. But I'll just want you to say, what is the APC all about? And you are clear. And you're going to come back to these videos that I'm talking about, because after going through the accounting phase, things will start becoming a little bit clearer. Then after the auditing phase, even much more clearer. Then after the technical phase and the end of the program, you will have the idea of the technical and its importance, but its role will then be further clarified by this video that you'll have in terms of what? In terms of when and how you then secure success in the APC. But that is that from my side, and just to really lay the foundation and the way forward So Kanyo will be the one that is Kanyo Manda. I see Manda. So the accounting team will be the one that comes and take you through in terms of how and what is expected from you from an accounting perspective. So what we can do, we can take a 10 minutes break and then we'll come back at 9:10. If there are no questions. Are there any questions? Okay, I don't see any. So that will be that from my side. So thank you very much. And I'm sure it's going to be a learning field journey in the next couple of months, 3-4 month odd, and then it'll be good I'll come and we'll catch up just to see how you're doing, and therefore if there's anything that she'll want us to do to enhance the program for you. But other than that, thank you very much and all the very best.
Sorry, Radani.
Sure. Yeah.
When we
Go.
come back at 9:10, so we shouldn't log off. So we will continue from this platform.
Yes, please. Yes. Yeah. There's no any other link. Yes. So coming back to this link. Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, bye.
Sure. All right. Take care, everyone, and all the best.
Thank you.